There's a weakness living inside you. A creature that wags its tail at the first sign of approval, that lowers its head when voices rise, that apologizes before it's even accused. This creature has been fed your entire life. It's been praised by teachers, rewarded by parents, celebrated by society. But this creature is not your friend. It's your executioner. You call it loyalty. You call it kindness. You call it being a good person. But I call it what it is. The death of your power. The assassination of your will. The burial of everything you could become. This creature is the dog. And today, we kill it. Look around you. Watch how people move through this world. They shuffle with bent backs, desperate eyes scanning for approval. They speak in apologies before they've said anything wrong. They give their time, their energy, their very souls to anyone who shows them the slightest warmth. They are dogs, domesticated, broken, safe. But safety is not power. Comfort is not control. And being liked is not the same as being respected. The dog believes that if it's good enough, loyal enough, harmless enough, the world will protect it. But the world doesn't protect dogs. It uses them. It pets them when convenient and abandons them when they're no longer needed. You've seen this pattern your entire life. The nice guy who never gets promoted, the loyal friend who gets betrayed, the agreeable person who gets walked over, again and again. You might even be living this pattern. That's because you've been trained to be a dog. Trained to seek permission instead of taking action. Trained to explain yourself instead of commanding silence. Trained to lower your eyes instead of holding your ground. But here's what they never told you. Every moment you spend as a dog is a moment stolen from the wolf you could become. The dog mentality runs deeper than behavior. It's a complete restructuring of how you see yourself in relation to power. The dog doesn't just obey, it needs to obey. It doesn't just serve, it lives to serve. It has confused dependence with virtue, submission with morality. When someone raises their voice, the dog immediately assumes it's done something wrong. When someone withdraws affection, the dog panics and starts performing harder. When someone sets a boundary, the dog sees it as rejection and begins negotiating its way back into good favor. This is emotional slavery. The dog has handed over control of its internal state to every person it encounters. Its mood depends on others' approval. Its self-worth fluctuates with the external validation. Its decisions are made not by calculation, but by the desperate need to avoid conflict. The dog believes this makes it good, noble, worthy of love. But love earned through weakness is not love at all. It's pity, and pity is not a foundation for respect. Watch what happens when the dog finally tries to assert itself, when it says no for the first time, when it sets a boundary, when it stops apologizing for existing. The very people who praised its gentleness suddenly call it cold, selfish, difficult. This is the moment of revelation. The dog realizes that its goodness was only valued as long as it remained powerless. The moment it showed even a hint of independence, it became a problem to be solved. That's when the dog faces its choice: return to submission or accept that kindness, without strength, is just another word for victim. Society has fed you a lie so beautiful, so comforting, that questioning it feels like blasphemy. This lie tells you that if you're kind enough, if you're giving enough, if you're selfless enough, the world will eventually reward you. But look at the evidence. Look at who actually rises to power. Look at who controls the narrative. Look at who makes the decisions that shape your life. Are they the nicest people? The most agreeable? The most eager to please? Or are they the ones who learned to say no without explanation? Who learned to command attention without begging for it? Who learned to inspire fear alongside any admiration they might earn? The nicest people in your life. Where are they now? Are they leading? Are they setting the terms? Are they creating the rules that others follow? Or are they still waiting for their turn? Still believing that good things come to those who wait? Still convinced that their day will come if they just remain patient and kind? Niceness is not a strategy. It's a drug. It feels good in the moment. The warmth of approval, the safety of acceptance, the comfort of belonging. But like all drugs, it requires higher and higher doses to achieve the same effect. Soon you're not just being nice, you're being doormat. You're not just being helpful, you're being used. You're not just being agreeable, you're being erased. The cruel truth is this: the world doesn't owe you anything for being nice. Kindness is not currency. Goodness is not power. And the moment you realize, this is the moment you can begin your transformation. The wolf is not born through cruelty. It's born through clarity, through the acceptance of a simple truth. In this world, you either control your environment or your environment controls you. You either set the terms or you live by someone else's terms. The wolf understands that power is not given. It's taken, not through violence, but through the willingness to act when others hesitate, through the ability to stand alone when others need the crowd, through the strength to remain silent when others feel compelled to explain themselves. Watch a wolf in nature. It doesn't bark constantly like a dog, begging for attention. It observes. It calculates. It moves with purpose. When it strikes, it's decisive. When it withdraws, it's strategic. It doesn't waste energy on displays of emotion or appeals for sympathy. The wolf has no need to be liked because it has something more valuable. It is feared, not through aggression, but through competence, through the quiet confidence that says, I can handle myself with or without your approval. This is what you must become. Not a predator who hunts for sport, but a force that cannot be ignored. Not someone who takes from others, but someone who cannot be taken from. The transformation begins with a single realization. Your kindness has been your cage. Your eagerness to please has been your prison. Your need for approval has been the chain around your neck. But chains can be broken, cages can be opened, and the dog can be killed. The first step in killing the dog is recognizing how deeply it has infected your emotional system. The dog doesn't just behave submissively, it feels submissively. It experiences anxiety when it hasn't received approval. It feels guilt when it considers its own needs first. It suffers physical discomfort when it imagines disappointing someone. This emotional dependence is the dog's most insidious feature. It means you're not just acting weak, you're feeling weak. Your body is addicted to the biochemical response of being accepted. Your nervous system has been trained to interpret independence as danger. But here's what you must understand. These feelings are not truth. They are programming. And programming can be rewritten. The wolf operates from a different emotional foundation entirely. It feels most comfortable when it's self-reliant. It experiences peace in solitude. It finds strength in its ability to act without consensus. When someone withdraws their approval from the wolf, it doesn't panic. It analyzes. When someone tries to guilt the wolf into compliance, it doesn't cave. It calculates whether the relationship serves its larger purpose. The wolf has learned the most dangerous lesson of all. Other people's emotions are not your responsibility. Their comfort is not your burden. Their opinion of you is not your identity. This doesn't mean the wolf is heartless. It means the wolf's heart is protected by boundaries made of steel. It can feel deeply without bleeding endlessly. It can care without being controlled by that care. To kill the dog, you must starve it of the validation it craves. You must deliberately put yourself in situations where approval is not guaranteed. You must practice saying no without explaining why. You must learn to sit with the discomfort of someone being disappointed in you. Each time you do this, the dog grows weaker. Each time you choose your own path over popular opinion, the wolf grows stronger. The dog talks, it explains, it justifies. It tells you exactly what it's thinking, feeling, planning. It believes that transparency equals virtue, that openness equals strength. The wolf understands that information is power, and power is not something you give away freely. When someone challenges the wolf, it doesn't immediately leap to its own defense. It pauses. It considers. It asks itself not, how can I prove I'm right? But how can I control this situation? When someone tries to bait the wolf into an emotional reaction, it doesn't take the bait. It recognizes the attempt for what it is, a probe to find weakness, and it responds with stillness instead of fire. When someone demands an explanation for the wolf's actions, it doesn't automatically comply. It asks itself whether this person has earned the right to that information, whether providing it serves the wolf's interests, whether silence might be more powerful than speech. This is not about being secretive for its own sake. It's about understanding that every word you speak is data that others can use against you. Every emotion you display is intelligence about your internal state. Every justification you offer is an admission that you believe you need permission to live your life. The wolf speaks when speaking serves its purpose. It reveals when revelation advances its position. It explains when explanation strengthens its hand. Everything else is silence. And silence, properly wielded, is more intimidating than any threat. The dog needs to be needed. It inserts itself into every situation, offers help before it's asked, makes itself available at all hours. It believes that its value comes from its usefulness, its goodness from its service. The wolf understands that scarcity creates value, that mystery generates interest, that the person who is always available is taken for granted, while the person who must be earned commands respect. The wolf doesn't ignore people or play games. It simply prioritizes its own time and energy. It shows up when it chooses to show up, not when others expect it to. It offers help when it wants to help, not when others demand it. This creates something the dog never experiences: leverage. When the wolf does appear, when it does offer assistance, when it does share its time, it matters. It's noticed. It's appreciated, because it wasn't guaranteed. People begin to adjust their behavior around the wolf's schedule, instead of expecting the wolf to adjust around theirs. They begin to value the wolf's attention because they know it can't be taken for granted. The dog thinks this is cruel. The wolf knows it's natural. In every system, biological, economic, social, what is rare becomes valuable. What is abundant becomes disposable. By making yourself constantly available, constantly agreeable, constantly accommodating, you train others to see you as abundant, as disposable, as something that will always be there no matter how it's treated. The wolf breaks this pattern, not through absence, but through presence that must be earned. The dog is loyal to everyone. It serves multiple masters, tries to please all sides, avoids taking positions that might create conflict. It believes this makes it good, balanced, fair. The wolf is loyal to its purpose. It serves its own vision first, and others only when their goals align with its own. It takes clear positions and defends them without apology. This doesn't mean the wolf is disloyal or untrustworthy. It means the wolf's loyalty is strategic rather than automatic. It's based on mutual benefit rather than one-sided service. When the wolf commits to something, that commitment means something because it was chosen, not compelled. When the wolf stands beside you, you know it's because it has calculated that your success serves its interests. This makes it a far more reliable ally than the dog who stands beside everyone. The dog's loyalty is worth nothing because it costs nothing. It's given freely to anyone who asks. The wolf's loyalty is precious because it's earned through mutual respect and shared purpose. This principle applies to every area of life. Your time, your energy, your emotional investment, your professional effort. All of these become more valuable when they become more selective. The wolf doesn't try to be everything to everyone. It becomes something specific to someone specific. And in doing so, it becomes irreplaceable rather than interchangeable. The dog lives in constant fear of being selfish. It has been trained to see any act of self-interest as morally suspect. It apologizes for taking up space, for having needs, for existing with purpose. This guilt is the dog's strongest chain. It keeps the dog serving others even when those others don't deserve service. It keeps the dog giving even when it has nothing left to give. It keeps the dog small even when it has the potential for greatness. The wolf has killed this guilt, not through selfishness, but through a clear understanding of responsibility. The wolf knows that its first responsibility is to its own survival and growth. Not because it doesn't care about others, but because it cannot serve anyone effectively if it destroys itself in the process. The wolf understands that taking care of itself is not taking away from others. That pursuing its own goals is not preventing others from pursuing theirs. That saying no to requests that don't serve its purpose is not the same as harming those who made the requests. This perspective flip changes everything. Instead of feeling guilty for having boundaries, the wolf feels proud of maintaining them. Instead of apologizing for pursuing its ambitions, the wolf sees that pursuit as its duty. Instead of sacrificing itself for others' comfort, the wolf recognizes that such sacrifice often enables weakness in those it's trying to help. The dog feeds others' dependency. The wolf inspires others' strength. The dog teaches people that they can take without giving. The wolf teaches people that respect is earned through mutual value. The dog creates relationships based on imbalance. The wolf creates relationships based on strength meeting strength. The dog dreams of a world where everyone likes it, where it never has to choose sides, where it can maintain harmony with all people at all times. This dream is not just unrealistic, it's the source of the dog's powerlessness. To stand for something is to stand against something else. To have clear values is to reject certain behaviors. To pursue specific goals is to abandon other paths. Leadership, by its very nature, requires making choices that some people will disagree with. The wolf accepts this reality. It knows that the attempt to please everyone results in pleasing no one. That the effort to avoid all conflict results in avoiding all progress. That the desire to be universally loved results in being universally forgotten. Instead of fearing disapproval, the wolf asks a different question. Whose disapproval would actually matter? Instead of trying to avoid making enemies, the wolf asks, what kind of enemies would indicate that I'm moving in the right direction? The wolf understands that being hated by the right people is often a sign of doing the right thing. That earning the resentment of those who benefit from the status quo means you're changing something important. That making small people feel uncomfortable means you're growing beyond their ability to control you. This doesn't mean the wolf seeks out conflict or tries to make enemies. It means the wolf is willing to accept conflict as the natural cost of having a spine. It means the wolf would rather be respected by the strong than pitied by the weak. Respect is not given freely. It's earned through demonstration. And what it requires demonstrating is the ability to enforce consequences. The dog has no consequences to offer. It threatens nothing. It withholds nothing. It punishes nothing. Therefore, it commands nothing. When someone disrespects the dog tries to win them back through increased kindness. When someone ignores the dog's boundaries, the dog adjusts those boundaries to be more convenient. When someone takes advantage of the dog's generosity, the dog offers more generosity to prove its worth. This teaches people that disrespecting the dog costs nothing and might even be rewarded with additional attention and effort. The wolf operates on different principles. When someone disrespects the wolf, they lose access to the wolf's presence. When someone ignores the wolf's boundaries, those boundaries become absolute walls. When someone takes advantage of the wolf's generosity, that generosity disappears entirely. This teaches people that the wolf's respect must be earned, and once lost, must be earned again. The wolf doesn't announce these consequences. It doesn't threaten them. It simply implements them. Silently, consistently, without explanation or negotiation. Over time, people learn to treat the wolf differently than they treat the dog. They speak more carefully. They consider their actions more thoroughly. They offer more value in exchange for the wolf's time and attention. This is not about being cruel or vindictive. It's about establishing clear cause and effect. It's about training your environment to treat you the way you want to be treated, by making good treatment beneficial and poor treatment costly. The wolf lives by principles that would terrify the dog. I do not explain my decisions to those who do not live with the consequences. I do not apologize for taking up space in a world that tried to make me small. I do not sacrifice my future for others' comfort in the present. I do not give my time to people who do not value it. I do not tolerate disrespect, even from those I care about. I do not negotiate my worth with people who cannot afford me. I do not perform goodness for those who mistake kindness for weakness. I do not seek permission to live my life according to my vision. These principles sound harsh to ears trained by dog philosophy, but they are not harsh. They are clear. They are not mean. They are protective. They are not selfish. They are sustainable. The wolf understands that boundaries are not walls built to keep others out. They are gates that allow the right people in while keeping the wrong people at the appropriate distance. The wolf knows that saying no to the wrong things is what makes it possible to say yes to the right things. The wolf recognizes that protecting its energy is what allows it to be truly generous when generosity serves a purpose. Killing the dog is not about destroying your capacity for kindness. It's about making that kindness dangerous. It's about ensuring that when you choose to be gentle, that choice comes from strength rather than fear. The process begins with observation. Start watching your own behavior with the cold clarity of an outsider. Notice when you apologize without having done anything wrong. Notice when you explain yourself to people who haven't earned explanations. Notice when you give your time and energy to people who wouldn't give theirs to you. Then begin the practice of restraint. Start holding back the automatic responses the dog has been trained to give. When someone tries to make you feel guilty, resist the urge to immediately fix their discomfort. When someone demands your time, pause before assuming you must provide it. When someone challenges your decisions, consider whether they deserve a response. This will feel uncomfortable at first. The dog will panic. It will tell you that people will abandon you, that you're being selfish, that you're becoming cold and heartless. But watch what actually happens. Watch how people's behavior toward you begins to shift. Watch how much more carefully they consider their words. Watch how much more value they place on your attention when it's not guaranteed. You will lose some people during this process, but ask yourself, were these people actually adding value to your life? Or were they simply taking advantage of your inability to say no? The right people, the strong people, the people worth keeping, will respect your transformation. They will appreciate dealing with someone who has clear boundaries and honest communication. They will enjoy interacting with someone who brings strength to the relationship rather than neediness. The ultimate goal is not to become heartless. It's to become dangerous in the service of what you love. It's to develop the strength to protect what matters to you. It's to build the power necessary to create the life you want, rather than just accepting whatever life others decide to give you. The wolf is not the enemy of love. It's love's guardian. It's the force that ensures your care goes to those who deserve it, rather than those who demand it. It's the strength that allows you to build something worth protecting. The wolf does not reject connection. It rejects the degradation that often masquerades as connection. It refuses to bond through mutual weakness. It insists on relationships built through mutual strength. The wolf does not abandon compassion. It directs that compassion with precision rather than scattering it like seed on barren ground. The greatest gift you can give to the people you truly care about is not your weakness, it's your strength. Not your dependence, but your independence. Not your need for them, but your choice to include them in your life. When you kill the dog, you don't become less human. You become more human. You become the human you were meant to be before the world trained you to be small. You become someone who can stand alone, but chooses to stand with others. Someone who can survive rejection, but chooses to build connection. Someone who can live without approval, but chooses to earn respect. You become the wolf, not because the world is cruel, but because you refuse to be prey. The choice is yours, but choose quickly. Every day you spend as a dog is a day stolen from the wolf you could become. The world has enough dogs. It needs more wolves. Kill the dog. Free the wolf. Become dangerous. The time for submission is over. The age of your power begins now.